Good evening, everybody. Happy Monday. Austin Silver, Senior Forex Analyst with T3 Live. I hope everybody had a great start to their week. I hope everybody's really focused, ready, and level-headed. I think that after a good day like today, a lot of people that I saw on my Twitter feed and on my Instagram feed had a really great day trading, even people outside of our group. So I think everybody today should have a pretty good level head going into the market tomorrow. Whether you are trading stocks today, options, futures, or Forex, I think most traders had a really good handle on the market today. So I want to touch on a topic that seems to come up a lot when we're in our trading every single morning, and that's how we trade correlated currency pairs. Currency pairs move together, and I think it's important to understand how they're moving together to make sure you can identify the best potential setup. So first, let's talk about base currency versus quote currency. Each pair that we look at when we trade, for example here, Euro USD, each pair, the exchange rate between the currencies is quoted in two currencies. So you have your euro, which is your base pair, and your quote pair, which is the US dollar. So you have two currency pairs, two currencies that make up the pair, And within that pair, you have a base currency, which is the currency on the front end, and a quote currency, which is the currency on the back end. Pretty simple stuff so far, right? Good. Next, I want you to understand that while you have your base pair and your quote pair, you have major currency pairs versus cross-currency pairs. So now when you put those pairs together, we have our major pairs, which is any of the currency pairs that include the US dollar. Euro USD, USD CAD, NZD USD, USD Swiss franc, USD JPY, pound dollar, all of these pairs that include the US dollar either on the base pair or the quote pair. Those are the pairs that we consider the major pairs. Cross pairs, on the other hand, is any currency pair that does not include the US dollar. Examples of that would be NZD CHF, GBP JPY, Euro CAD, GBP AUD, CAD CHF, GBP NZD. All of these currency pairs do not include the US dollar, and these are pairs that sometimes are more volatile. They move at different times than the US dollar, than the US markets are open. So these cross pairs should not be neglected. But understand, you have base pairs and quote pairs within your currency pair. You then have your major currency pairs, which include the US dollar, and your cross pairs, which include everything except the dollar. Now, how do they move together? That's where we get down into it, right? So today, and I'm going to go over this example with you in a second, you have Euro JPY and CAD JPY sharing JPY as their quote pair. They both are yen quote pairs. See, JPY is on the back end. That would tell us that they should move together. USD CAD and USD CHF share their base pair. That would tell us that they should move together. Now, when I say should, I mean majority of the time. We're not talking about every time. Nothing is 100% of the time. But when you have base pairs that are correlated, like you do here, USD and USD, or quote pairs that are correlated, like you do here, JPY and JPY, that's going to offer potential for you to identify which pairs are trending and moving together. When you have something like AUD USD and CAD JPY, maybe both of these pairs are on your watch list, and they share no common pair, they are not correlated. They might move together, but if they do, it's not based on any correlation, and therefore I wouldn't tie any heavy trend into that decision, into that thought process. But understand that if you're looking at a watch list with two quote JPY pairs, or two base USD pairs, or two base GBP pairs, any of these situations, you might want to watch for those correlated currency pairs to trade together. How do we apply this to today? Well, here you can see this is our watch list for this morning. We had 6 pairs on the list. What do you guys notice? The people watching on Facebook Live, on Instagram right now, what do you guys notice out of this watch list? Right off the bat, it should be very clear. You have CAD JPY, CHF JPY, Euro JPY, Euro USD, NZD JPY, and NZD USD. What do you see here that's should be as clear, clear as day to you? It's that you have 4 quote JPY pairs: CAD JPY, CHF JPY, Euro JPY, and NZD JPY. You also have correlation here on the dollar, Euro USD and NZD USD on the quote pairs. So with all this correlation on the 6 pairs that we had on the list, it's not something where you're going to say, all right, if one of these is rising, I'm going to buy all of them. That's not what you use this for. I want to make that very, very clear. What you're using this correlation for is identifying which pairs are in trend, therefore letting us know which ones could present the best potential S2 setup. So when you have these 4 JPY pairs here, these on your watch list, you're looking to say, okay, if they're all telling me the same direction, then I'm going to look at all 4 of them and wait for the best entry, because if they're all saying go long, chances are one of them is going to present the S2 and they're all going to move long. When you have 4 pairs telling you go long, 4 pairs in trend, you should take that as a signal that you're probably going to see upward movement from those pairs. Even if you look at today, NZD-JPY, let's look at this first. You can see from start of day through Asia we consolidated, but by the end of the day the move was up. See here, about 5, 6 a.m. we picked up the trend and we continued off the 50 EMA higher. Let's look here at Euro-JPY. Again, starts the day lower, moves higher through Asia, and in through London, and in through New York, higher all day. It's not identical. Look at Euro-JPY here versus NZD-JPY. It's not identical movement. That's not what the correlation does. The correlation tells us which ones are in trend. You can see NZD-JPY told us we were in trend. Euro-JPY told us we were in trend. And then the entry that we found today was at 8 a.m. on CAD-JPY. So the third of those 4 JPY quote pairs that we had on the watch list. You can see here that this one does end up moving higher as well from start of day to end of day, and this ended up presenting the best entry for us with the most potential of profit. This one ran up over 20 pips for us, but everybody was in the live room this morning able to identify this. We looked at all these potential JPY setups and we said, look, which one has the most space to the pivot point? Well, if you look at Euro JPY, when this was throwing the entry in here, you were at that pivot point. Some people don't like trading at pivot points, especially when you've been rejected 2 times previously during that day. So when you have that rejection, it might turn you off. Whereas here on CAD JPY, you had no pivot point. The nearest pivot point was up over 15 pips away from the entry, which is all the S2 strategy calls for. So this was a much more profitable, potentially profitable setup for us. So by narrowing it down and saying, look, all the JPYs are moving. All of them are moving. Now, which one is going to have the best entry for us? That's how we're able to find 1 or 2 trades a day and increase our win percentage as high as possible. You know, we never want to say there's a guarantee, but when you're winning 8 out of 10 trades, you're winning at a very high rate. The reason that you're doing that is because you're picky. You're identifying the best potential setups like you find here. You're taking that trade, putting the money in your account, and moving on with your life, moving on with your day. That's how trading as a day trader should be. As a swing trader, it's totally different. But as a day trader, it's identify the setups, if-then statements. If it sets up the way that you want it to, you execute, you follow the plan, and you move on in the next day. And you forget about it. Even though we won this trade, I'm done with it. I'm on to tomorrow's trading session. I'm not even thinking about it. And you can see here on the 1 minute, barely any pain. It pulled back to the 50 and 200 EMA once right here at about 8:30, but it was throwing entries from 8:02, 8:06. I have it in my journal here. I'll tell you right now. I know there was one at 8:02, 8:06, 8:16, 8:29, and 8:05 was the 5-minute cross. So you had 1-minute crosses 3 or 4 different times, and then you had another cross here at about 9:01 when it really pushed higher. And then you can see by 9:45, your entry was here at 8 o'clock, 8:01, 8:02. By 9:45, so within 2 hours, you're talking 18 pips, over 15 pips of profit with a 6-pip stop loss, 3-to-1 risk reward, 2-to-1 risk reward. A really solid, powerful trade here. Identifiable because the JPY pairs were all moving in correlation in an uptrend, and all you needed to do is wait for the S2. The S2 is going to be the highest probability of a winner for your breakout trades. That's why we use the S2 strategy. You can see here, Kevin was able to make some money on this here. He also traded NZD JPY, but CAD JPY, he pulled out a nice 15-pip trade in at 84.48, out at 84.63. It's exactly 15 pips. Another one of the guys in the room this morning, in at 84.46, out at 84.57, in at 84.48, out at 84.62. Just really solid trades from everybody in the room today. Everybody was able to identify this setup. Everybody was on board with it, and that's why everybody was able to pull some type of profit out of it. And these aren't setups that we're just seeing once or twice a week. You can see here, even Mark Melnick is using this strategy to identify trade setups for him every single day. This is from last week. He closed out $2,300 in profit, $1,900 in profit, and almost $1,800 in profit just off 3 positions. You're talking right there, almost $6-7 grand in profit, right? Just from these 3 positions. And here he says he's using some of the S2 methodology with his own trading. He's been trading a lot longer than me, so he's combining what I talk about with his own strategies, and it's working out to be very profitable for him. It's awesome. I love this. I love seeing this. So for those of you that are interested in getting involved with us, if you don't know about our program, it's called the SilverFX training program. It includes the 5-hour video course, live trading room with me and Eric and the rest of our team every single day from 5 to 11 a.m. And it also includes the 1-hour coaching sessions every night, Sunday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Recorded and stored for you. We literally just did it before I get on here. Every single night I do 2 calls in a row. All for $200 a month. So you pretty much get more of me than my girlfriend. I say that every night for $200 a month. It's a no-brainer. Especially if you're interested in Forex, if you just want to figure out if this might be something for you, it's a no-brainer. All right? So let me just summarize really quickly again the presentation from tonight. It's very simple, guys. These currency pairs are going to move in some direction every day, up and down, but you can use correlation to identify which pairs are trending, like we did today. You can see with the watch list again. You can use these correlated pairs to identify, okay, JPY is in trend today. Now let me find my S2 entry. And you come in, you look at all the charts, you look here, I don't like the pivot point. Here, this only has 13 pips to the pivot point, but this one, CAD JPY, over 15 pips to the pivot point, that's the trade that I want. That's where my money's going to go. And there's an S2 entry in it. When you didn't have an S2 here on Euro JPY and you did not have an S2 on NZD JPY as well, you always just trust the S2. It's going to keep you safer. It's not a coincidence that the S2 is in the best trade. The S2 is the best trade. It's not like there's S2s everywhere. The S2 is the best trade. So if you understand how to identify the S2 successfully, you will also, in turn, identify the best trade setups for you as well. As always, everybody, I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, drop it in the comments below. If you were in this trade today on CAD JPY and you were, profitable, please drop a comment below. Let other people know how you're doing in the room. Let them know your opinion. Your testimonials always speak louder than me getting on here and screaming about it. And as always, I appreciate everybody's time, and I'm really looking forward to a solid week. So if you're not in the VTF, this is the week to be in with us, because like we called it from last week, literally before 4th of July. I was like, guys, don't lose any money going into 4th of July next week, because the week after 4th of July, which starts today, is going to be a solid week. And here you go. Started the week off, 20 pip trade. One a day is all we're going to look for, and that's how we do it every single day. So if you guys have any questions, like I said, please reach out to me, and if you're interested in joining the live room, I'm here to bring you in whenever you guys are ready. Happy trading, and I will talk to everybody tomorrow night. Thanks, guys.